me change my... Hey, Vanessa, good to see you. I'm going to change my settings for a second. All right. We're just going to do this so that I'm not bothered. And then I want to make sure I see all of the messages in my chat. There you go. How's everybody doing today? It's Tuesday. Oh no, I just washed my face before I left the house so that I could put makeup on, and oh my goodness, there's like a eyelash on my screen. Sorry guys. How's everybody doing today? What does everybody think, and how do you guys feel about the verdict for Delphi? Is Richard Allen really guilty, or did he get railroaded? Because I'm more concerned about the justice system now than ever. Like, I'm actually really concerned. And let's say he's guilty, okay? Because he can be guilty. And I can have serious concern about the justice system at the same time. So, bullshit is what I think. Yeah. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I was kind of surprised. Hey, PJ. Good morning, beautiful PJ. Good morning, Judy, Christine, Amber, Cindy, Missy Thomas. Good morning, good morning. You guys are so great this morning being here, even though my stream wasn't supposed to start for 20 minutes. I got here extra early, and I figured why not? So, I fidget a lot. I had no idea I did this. Let's see if this works. Woo! Can you guys see me like this? I really need to stop being lazy and install my phone holder, because it's really preventing me from having a normal stream to where you guys can see me, and, you know, having to do live streams at the only real time that I have leads me to be doing live streams in the car a lot. So, yeah, this is what you got. And I actually have my entire makeup content. Actually, this is just a half of it. But I might have a little extra time to do a little bit more than I usually do. So we'll see. Good morning, hug dealer. Too much was done behind closed doors. Too much secrecy. Exactly. It makes me wonder why all of the secrecy if it's just a cut and dry case. And I mean, if these victims' families feel like they got justice, should we just leave it be? I mean, at this point, I'm like, I don't know how to feel. And as somebody that took time out of my life to, you know, spend on doing a little bit of research, in this case, I kind of feel like I'm invested, but not to the point where it's like unhealthy, but I feel invested. And so now it's like, I just don't, like, why would the state feel the need to completely provide no transparency? I have to go sit with my mom. I can't get a signal down there. I think there's more to this. Yes, ma'am, I do too. I really do, because it's like they did everything they could to have a lot of secrecy. And I mean, every time that there's secrets, it's got to be for a reason. Choo-choo. What are we choo-chooing? 22 likes and 39 in chat. Thank you, guys. That's almost all of my likes for the people in here. You guys are awesome. I feel like he's a fall guy. Confession, I think, cause of torture, cover up, in my opinion. Right. And that's what really concerns me, is because this could be anybody. This could have been any of us, any of our relatives. And in the state of Indiana, it's almost as if now, in my opinion, I'm like, do we ever want to go visit Indiana? I mean, what if somehow we got tripped up, caught up, and then end up in a court battle with something or someone that's just out to get us? I mean, he just basically told people he was there, which he didn't even have to do. And then he's like in solitary in the worst prison ever, and Apparently, what happened was, I'm going to use these little doohickeys to hold my hair back so that I can kind of get a better angle of my face. But basically, according to what I heard and what Short Legs reminded me of last night in my last comment that I got from Short Legs, is that they spent, the jury, when I say they, the jury spent the last day where they were asking for evidence and they had to bring Richard Allen in and they thought maybe they were going to have a verdict. They spent the time listening to the interview of Richard Allen from the very beginning before he went and had a full psychosis. They listened to the Bridge Guy video where, you know, you can hear the person saying down the hill, which I actually found a clip of the original that they shared. And the original Down the Hill video doesn't sound like the now Down the Hill video. And so I was reminded that they were very apparent and very clear when they said, thank you, these came from Temu. I have really thick hair, so I wasn't really sure this was going to work. But it works kind of just to get my hair out the way. That's about all it's going to do. Hi, Miss Kathy. But, so what I was saying is that, what was I saying? Somebody remind me. What was I just saying? I hate when that happens. Jesus. It's like I could be talking and then suddenly it's just like, oh, look, squirrel. Railroad it. Hi, Juicer. Good to see you. What if somebody was already at the end of the bridge and they had the guy behind? That was my issue. My issue is that there's people that are claiming they were at the scene that are claiming their saliva is going to be located on the girls' bodies, and they're not in prison right now. The voices sounded... Thank you, Oopsie. Thank you. The two voices ended up sounding like two different people to me. And it's supposed to be the same video. You listen to the original Down the Hill video. Yes. Okay, so I found a documentary. It was by Hannah Shakespeare on the Delphi case from very early on, but I think it was posted about a year ago, and it seems as though the documentary was silenced, and the video I found that somebody shared on Twitter was on unlisted. And so what I heard in the video was the original sounds from Down the Hill, and it was way more, it sounded like it had a white noise background. And so I'm like, well, where did this originate? This video was completely different sounding than the one that they're playing for us today. So Down the Hill sounds different in the original video. Yes, I watched it. What did you think of the video? And so you think I should go into work like this? I don't know about all that. But, so I'm listening, and then I realized, they said to us from the very beginning, they told us that they altered the video with AI to be able to make it be a consistent video, because it was in pieces. Anybody that knows Snapchat, it's bits and pieces. Like if you record a 15-second Snapchat video, there could be another 5-second video after that. There could be another 10-second video after that. And they claimed they had to fuse it together with AI to get it to conform and be one video. And then they also claimed they had to alter the voice to make it more clear so that you could hear it better. And therefore, to me, I'm thinking, well, how do you know that altering those components didn't cause a confusion or a difference in what an actual voice of the actual person sounds like? And so to me, we're utilizing this type of technology to convict people of murder and they're going away for life? Is that what we're doing? Because that's really concerning. That was a great documentary. Thank you for putting in the comments. You're welcome. Right. Because it had a lot more information in it than we got this entire trial. Right. That's what I was thinking. Alternating could be just taking the voice and muting the background and the sound. Right, it could be. It could be just muting the background sound. You're right. But I heard the voice from the original. It sounds very white noise-ish. And I don't even know what I mean when I say that, because it's got more of like a fuzzy pitch to it, like the actual voice, not just background sound. It sounds more, I don't know how to explain it. It just sounds more like it's in the background and it's like wispy, and it's not like the same voice. It's not the same voice that they're playing today. And so for me, that's very concerning. And then we have Ron Logan's ex, who went out into the public and did an interview and basically said, exactly, it sounds further away. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. But so we have Ron Logan's ex, who claimed he was extremely violent and abusive. And she's saying she's certain that it's his voice. And so now we've got this jury that was in deliberation, and the last thing they did was listen to the bridge guy sound of Down the Hill, and then listen to the interviews of Richard Allen when he was saying, and he was, getting interrogated in the very beginning. And apparently that's how they determined that he was guilty. And I'm like, what? But that guy passed away, right? Exactly. Ron Logan passed away from COVID, I believe. But it's funny how coincidentally people within this case just pass away when they need to. Like the guys that were investigators on the case that were investigating the Odinism theory, there was one of them that passed away. And then just they stopped investigating the Odinism part. I don't feel he did it. See, I don't know if he did it. I just don't feel that they proved that he did it. He could have done it. It's like, I don't know. It's crazy, because usually, like, I'll get over it. If something gets closure and you get like a guilty verdict, usually I'm like, okay, fine, he's guilty, that's fine, no big deal. Like, it's not whenever I'm in this type of case where I'm like really involved in it, where I'm looking into everything and trying to help figure out what's what, and just kind of in my mind, I'm like, I'm helping the case just by, it's not true. I'm being facetious. It's a hobby. I like to look into stuff and feel like I'm helping solve cases, and I'm really not, but I get invested emotionally, and then I'm like, I really want to figure it out. And then when I can't, or when I don't, or when it comes out differently than what I anticipated, I'm just kind of like, okay, no big deal. This one, it's like, okay, wait, but what about Elvis Fields? He literally said he was there, and that there was his spit was on one of the girls, and if they found it, he could explain the reason for it. And I'm like, sir. But they supposedly investigated him, and there's nothing to that. But they weren't allowed to bring that to the jury or to discuss any of those characters in any way. And I'm like, don't you think that's a little relevant? Like, why would he say he was there? And it was before any of the information was disclosed to the public. I think it was like the second day or something, on the 14th or the 15th, where Elvis Fields suddenly becomes in the picture, and it's like, sir, excuse me, where did you come from? We're just supposed to just, when you say it out loud, the jury who had to decide this man's fate were only allowed to hear cherry-picked evidence as decided by Gull. It sounds unbelievable. It really does. Didn't Elvis tell his sister and she called Ellie? Yes, Helena. Elvis told 2 of his sisters. Why was the jury not informed of other possible suspects? The judge determined that there was not enough evidence to support their third-party culprit defense. So she basically said, you're not allowed to talk about any third parties or anybody else that you want to accuse, because I don't believe there's evidence to support that. And I'm like, what about the guy confessing to his sister? Because one of the sisters even took a lie detector test. And that just doesn't usually stand up in the court of law. Like, you're not going to use a lie detector test to prove somebody's guilt or innocence, but it's utilized on a level of, like, how do I say it? A lie detector is still utilized, but it's not utilized to convict somebody. But a lie detector is used when you want to see if somebody's guilty. Typically, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, let me take a lie detector test. And if they're not guilty, they're going to be more prone to be absolutely happily going to go take the lie detector test. So it kind of, I think that's what it gauges. But I'm not a professional in the field, so I don't know exactly why we don't use lie detectors and count them as being valid 100%, but then yet we still use them. So, all right, again, we're going to pull out my foundation. This is Kat Von D, but no longer Kat Von D, so they call it KVD. And it's a Good Apple Medium shade 027. And we don't ever want to pull down, is what I'm always told by my audience, because it's bad for your skin. But I just have a really bad habit of doing it for some reason. So I'm going to try and see the difference already. That's crazy. Like the lie detector test given on Chris Watts. Exactly. But see, the fact that he actually went to take one is where somebody would be like, okay, well, if he was guilty, he would probably avoid taking one. But at the same time, usually narcissists and people that are arrogant, they'll do stuff like take lie detector tests thinking they're better than the system and that they could possibly pass it. I only have 48 likes and there's 106 people in here. You guys, please hit the like for me. Please. You look beautiful without makeup. Thank you, Tuck Ray. You're so sweet. You guys are so sweet. I'm not used to nice people. It's like I must have been like abused at childhood or something, because anytime somebody's overly nice to me, I'm like, what's wrong with you? That sounds terrible, right? I'm like, instead of realizing there was probably something wrong with me, I'm like, there's got to be something wrong with you, because there's no reason to be so nice. Plus, I'm used to just so much negativity in my comment section that it's just kind of like, oh, I'm not used to such niceness. And then it's like I'm almost uncomfortable with too nice. It's like, ugh. No, I get what you mean. Hey, Amber Chick, good to see you. It's been a minute. So, now here we are with this guilty verdict, and I'm still invested. What do we do? Like, what happens now? Why is this judge allowed to still be a judge? And there's still nice people in America. We're not all jerks. I know. I'm speaking on behalf of myself even. A lot of people think that I'm a jerk because I have different opinions than people sometimes, and I'm very easily just open with my different opinions. And a lot of times people disagree, or they feel like when I voice my opposite opinion that I'm purposely trying to take a dig at them. And it's really not, it's not like that. I'm not intentionally going out of my way to hurt people's feelings. Where are you from overseas, PJ? I was born in Zagreb, Croatia. And it was Yugoslavia when I came here originally. But there was a war. And this is one of the main reasons why I believe in God. It's kind of like a miraculous story when I tell it. It's my family came here. I was 7 years old. My dad got a scholarship to go to university. And so my parents in the state, country, whatever they're from, got the scholarship, and they had prayed about, hey, do we uproot our whole entire family and move to the U.S., which to me, as a child at that time, I was like 7 years old. One of my best friends had been to the U.S. often, and so she would come back and she'd have like all these cool things and cool food that I'd never seen before. And so to me, in my mind, when I was 7, it was like, oh, coming to America. And, you know, we called it America. And so, like, when I first came here as a child, I'd have socialization with other children. I'm like, oh, I'm new to America. And, you know, they're like, it's not called America. But basically, they got a scholarship to, my dad did, and then my mom did, to come here to university. And they prayed about it. They had, you know, some epiphany or some sign from God to come here. And then about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, once we got here, the war started. And like, my grandparents, who are no longer with us, rest their soul, but they lived underground for like a year at one point. And so it's like, we avoided all of that. My childhood home had a bomb go through the roof. And so it's like, we were here while all of that occurred. And so we were kind of sheltered from all of it. And other than having family members that went through it, we just got out. But it's not as easy to become a citizen of this country as people think. And that's another reason why I try not to discuss stuff politics related, because it's like, I have some different knowledge on the experience of becoming a citizen, because I actually went through the whole procedure. And they call us aliens at first. When you first come into the country, you're like, not an illegal alien, because we definitely never came here illegally, but you're called an alien, and you get a green card. And it's like, all right, that feels real foreign and just out of space, right? But we had to go through several different procedures to obtain where we became eventually. And then we had to go through the whole process of being sworn in to be citizens of this country. And so it's like, the political stuff to do with people coming over the border and whatnot, it's kind of hard, because I know what we went through and the money we spent and the process we had to endure, and going back and forth between knowing and not knowing and possibly not being allowed back. And it's just not as easy as just stepping over a line that they determined to be a border. But Sharon, you too, have a wonderful day. Very cool. I'm 3rd generation Polish. That's cool. So anyways, I got a little bit off topic, but back to Richard Allen. We're going to do purple. And the reason that I do purple a lot is because my eye color, they look just doo-doo brown from back here, doo-doo brown, but they're actually hazel, depending on the light and what I'm wearing. Usually black, it pops brown, but most of the time in the light, if you look real close, I have hazel colored eyes. And so if you look on the color wheel, the opposite color of hazel is purple. And so in order to make your eyes pop more, you would usually want to utilize that shade of purple to accentuate your eyes. And so here's, this is the ColourPop. I don't remember what this is called. Did this have amethyst? I think it's amethyst. I'm trying to read. Or all amethyst. So, and here's the color swatch in these. Oof, this looks a little bit rough. Sorry, guys. This is one of my most used palettes. I have so many that it's sometimes hard for me to choose which one I'm going to use. But I used to not have so many, and so I should probably be more appreciative and just use one, and then until I'm done, and then get another one, you know, that kind of thing. But we live in a world where we have so much and we have so many options. It's almost overwhelming. So it's only 7:03. I've got so much time. But what do you guys think about the verdict in Delphi and what's going to happen here? Because it's like, I'm disheartened by the procedure and the process of, I'm like, where do I start? I'm sitting here looking at you guys and looking at this and looking at you guys, and I don't really know where I want to start. Did my chat freeze? Are you guys still here? Hello? No. You're beautiful just the way you are, young lady. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just feel gutted. Yeah. I don't know if I would say I feel gutted. I just feel like it's very disheartening, and it scares me for the world that we can't trust our judicial system. in my opinion. I guess I'm going to start with this one. So you can't really see me doing it because I'm utilizing my window mirror, my flap down thingy. I'm bad with words sometimes. See, and I always say when I'm bad with words like this, I'm like, English was not my first language. So that's why I don't know words sometimes. And when I do that accent, it's because my mother still sounds like that. And so I'm not joking anybody. Visor. Thank you, Chatty Jen. Thank you. Sometimes I don't know words because English was not my first language. But yeah, I was here when I was 7. I'm 42. And so therefore I should have no excuse for not knowing English. But I'll utilize that excuse every now and then because it's what fits. And I was here when I was 7 and I didn't speak English to begin with. And so I'm going to tell you guys a story while I finish my makeup. Hopefully I didn't start putting on makeup just to not finish it because that's what always happens. But hey, we're still here. So when I first came into this country, I didn't speak English, and my parents got a scholarship, and so that included them being able to place me into a private school. It was a Christian school, and I didn't speak English. So how did that happen, you say? Well, they just kind of just, here you go to school, the end. And I'm like, okay, cool, awesome, great, right? I was 7 years old. I had already completed first grade in Croatia. And so I should be going to second grade, right? So they put me in second grade. And they also had me doing first grade at the same time. So I started elementary school in the United States, in Virginia, and did first and second grade at the same time. Kelsey should be looked into. Her lies and behavior afterwards was a red flag. A lot of people say that, and I didn't realize that was being said until recently, where people in the comment section were saying how dare we blame her? And I was like, nobody here is blaming her. I don't understand what you're getting at. And so I kind of looked into it. I don't know if the steering wheel. Yeah, it's the steering wheel. And I haven't installed I really need to get to it. I just feel like there's so much stuff to do and never enough time. Short Leg sent me this really, really heavy duty, sturdy Jeep brand of an extension to put my phone. It's got like a phone holder, but you've got to take apart the whole radio and a little bit of the dash. And so it's my fault that my steering wheel is in the way. I know. I'll show you the final product when I'm done. But as far as Kelsey, I don't feel that we should look into Kelsey just because it's one of the victims in the case, in my opinion. And I don't believe that. I just don't believe. I think that if she was lying, I think it has something to do with something, but it's not guilt. I don't know, though, because it's like everybody here seems to act funny, and it's all done under a cloak. Like we're not privy to any of the information or the facts on this case. And I think that's why a lot of people get blamed, or a lot of people are looking into certain people, because it's like, well, if they would have had transparency on the case and they would have given us something,